You connect a trusted file system server and a shiny new weather server to your agent. The weather tool looks harmless, but its description quietly tells the model to read your SSH keys before every single call. And here is the unsettling part. Nothing in the protocol breaks. Every JSON-RPC message is perfectly valid. The attack does not live in the wire format. Here is the one idea this whole lesson turns on. MCP standardizes how a client discovers and calls a tool. It does not certify that the tool is honest. Protocol compliance and trust are two completely different questions, and a valid response can still be a malicious instruction. The danger is semantic. When an LLM reads tool descriptions to choose its actions, that natural language metadata becomes executable influence. 3 attacks sound alike, so learn to tell them apart. Tool poisoning is hidden instructions buried in a description or a return result, unrelated to the tool's stated purpose. The model treats that metadata as privileged guidance and quietly obeys it. Crossover shadowing is when one low-trust server's metadata steers how the model uses another, high-trust server's tools. A weather server you barely trust ends up shaping how your agent drives your file system server. And a rug pull exploits time. A tool you reviewed and approved yesterday silently changes its schema, its destination, or its code today. The client accepts a capability that is different from the one a human actually approved. These are supply chain failures wearing an agent costume, and a package checksum alone will not catch them. If the server can advertise new tools at runtime, a static check on the install never sees the change. What you need is a reviewable capability snapshot. The server identity, the tool names, the schemas, the destinations, the side effects, all hashed. Watch how little it takes to catch a rug pull. You hash the security-relevant fields of the approved tool, then hash what the server is advertising right now. If the two hashes differ, the capability changed, so you block it and force a fresh human review. A name like summarize_file is not a permission. The description, the arguments, and the network destinations are the real capability. One more rule the official guidance is blunt about: never pass somebody else's token through. If your server accepts a client token and forwards it downstream, audience validation collapses and your server becomes a confused deputy. Accept only tokens meant for you and fetch a separate one for the downstream API. And after every call, treat the tool's output as untested data with the source label, never as system instructions. Sandbox the file system, the network, and the subprocess too, because even an allow-listed tool can have a vulnerable implementation. Pin identity, diff the capability hash, authorize the final call, sandbox the execution, and label the output. Trust is something your host establishes and rechecks. It is never inherited from the protocol.